My friends and I have never been out of the country together, so we decided to go to Mexico, Tulum, to experience what people claim to be one of the best places to go to in the world. So I decided to go all out, and I planned everything from going to the beach clubs, going to bars, having some of the best dinners, and visiting a world wonder, Chichen Itza. But one of the main worries of our group, and not just our group, but just people in general, are we gonna get robbed? Are we gonna get killed? Are we gonna get kidnapped? And will we make it back home alive? But 2 gunmen did walk into the nightclub that we're going to right now and kill 2 people. But before I get started with the shady stuff, let me tell you guys about the cool stuff. Yeah, you guys can go. Just check in. It's under my name. The first night, we decided to stay at a place called Bespoke. This was before we checked into our Airbnb because our Airbnb was $1,200 a day, and this was exponentially cheaper. So we decided to do something cooler that was kind of outside of Tulum and big enough to fit all of us. So we stayed in this 3-bedroom, 3,200 square feet apartment with an ocean view, literally on the beach. And honestly, it was way better than we expected it to be. How do you feel about Mexico so far?
So allegedly, we're in Mexico.
Refuse to lose. You already know what the message is.
Allegedly.
Now this is what the entrance to the hotel looks like. We feel like we're in the jungle right now.
We are in the jungle.
We literally actually are in the jungle right now.
Oh, I'm feeling it. It feels
Are
like
you feeling it now?
You feeling it now, Mr. Crab? Wait, let me see this. Hold on. I need to get this view. I need to get this fucking view. Oh, that seaweed. I mean, the seaweed isn't that bad. It's bad, but it's not like that bad. Now, something we weren't aware of until after we booked this whole trip was that it was going to be peak seaweed season. And not only was it just peak seaweed season, it was the worst ever.
The worst it's ever been of sargassum, this brown seaweed in the Caribbean. It is smashing records this summer.
We're chilling up here. But we honestly weren't so worried about that because we did have multiple pools at not only our own hotel room, but the hotel itself. Plus, our main idea of coming out here was to kind of explore.
Well, I know what Brendan's gonna be.
Right here.
Gotta get fucking rich.
Not just be chilling at the beach the whole time. So it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Fortunately, we didn't know that there's a fucking seaweed season. Were you aware of that?
No.
Yeah, none of us were aware about the seaweed season, so we can't even get inside the actual ocean itself, which kind of really fucking sucks. But we do have, fortunately, our hotel does have a pool upstairs, which is very clutch. I'm also pretty fucked up right now. The more I talk, the more I'm saying, I'm like, wow, this is actually really hitting me right now.
It's alright, man. We've been traveling all day. Seaweed smells like shit. Things have been happening.
I actually don't mind the smell of seaweed.
I mean, usual seaweed, nah, but this got a little twang to it.
Now, this hotel did have a restaurant in there that closes around, I believe, 9 p.m. So my recommendation is don't be like us and have food at the hotel already because there will be nothing open past like 8 p.m. I got a migraine, fell asleep, and woke up at midnight with nothing to eat. So I just started eating Doritos the whole night. It was absolutely miserable, so don't be like us. Bring food. If you plan on coming here, bring food to have there already. Aside from that, this hotel was for sure a 10 out of 10. There was absolutely nothing wrong. The staff were great. The restaurant's food was great. The hotel itself was cheap. The beach was relatively clean. The pools were great and heated. If I were to come back to Tulum, I would probably stay here again. Now, the following morning, we had to wake up at 6 to make sure that we were able to get to the tour that we wanted to go to. And that was the Chichen Itza tour plus cenotes tour. And if you don't know what cenotes are, it's essentially like these big water caves that are scattered all over this area, which are absolutely insane. They look out of this world.
I'm gonna get in the water now.
I'm also pretty positive these caves are considered to be world wonders. Like, you can't see this anywhere else in the world.
I'm scared of caves. Turns out.
New fear unlocked. I'm actually mortified of caves.
Alyssa, do you see the bats? There's literally bats just like running around.
You think Batman is down here?
What are you expecting from the pyramids?
They're gonna be tall.
What are you guys expecting from the pyramids?
Bug bites.
I thought this was the pyramid.
Oh shit. Now the humidity was absolutely disgusting and the mosquitoes were eating us alive. But the drive there wasn't too bad. It was around 2.5 hours, not counting the cenote stop, but we were definitely really excited to see these pyramids. When you walk in, you're greeted with a ton of stands with people trying to sell you memorabilia. The funny part is you get to haggle with them. Some stands that were selling something for $5 had other stands selling it for $1. So their profit margins must be insane. You just have to know what kind of is worth it and what's not worth it, but they're definitely out there to finesse you, and there is literally hundreds everywhere. As for how safe we felt up to this point, we didn't actually run into any sort of sketchy situations, and everybody was actually being really cool thus far. Could you do all of this by yourself up to this point? I believe so. How are we feeling, guys?
Hot and sweaty.
You're wearing a full suit too.
A suit?
Yeah.
You're sweating on your stomach. Ew.
Come lick it off me, yeah. You're basically doing an IRL National Geographic, which is actually pretty cool if you're into history stuff. This was actually a really cool tour. Our tour guide was really sick, and she did teach us a ton of stuff that was absolutely insane to learn about. All right, let's go do some sacrifices.
They were killing the fuck out of babies. They were killing babies.
The reason was like, oh, I lost a soccer game.
No,
Gotta give up my son.
Even if they won, they were getting killed, bruh.
Babe, I did great at the game tonight. Bad news, I'm dying tonight.
I imagine if you're getting sacrificed, they're throwing mad posts your way. they're sending you out on a fucking high note.
I want a beer and a fucking shot so bad.
This motherfucker's an alcoholic.
Okay, relax, everybody. Now it's a problem.
Now it's wasn't a problem yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good time yesterday.
We were taking in the culture.
Shut the fuck up. I haven't felt like this has been like a dangerous area in any like situation. I've never been like, wow, this is kind of sketchy, guys.
I feel like it's just kind of touristy, you know?
Well, not even like just here, just like what we've been to is like in general, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel
I feel
about that?
very safe.
Right?
I was gonna walk to
really seen, like,
7-Eleven alone this morning.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like smart. I mean,
Well-
you hear that it's not supposed to be a good idea, unless it's maybe
But
like
it would have been me by myself just.
maybe
going to
because we're
7-Eleven.
just used to like our gangsters and like their gangsters here just look completely different.
Yeah,
Like, you know?
I'm honestly more scared of like a jaguar pop.
Yeah.
Cartel at this point.
The odds of a fucking crazy wild animal eating you up
It's
versus
probably
just getting,
higher.
like,
It's
fucking.
probably higher. Look at all these fucking trees. They could be anywhere.
You can never be a photographer for random people because you're gonna be like, oh, you guys
like shit.
rough.
He's like, this is the worst group of girls I've ever photographed out.
You guys are busted. Oh shit, they got beer on their heads. Now I will say the most annoying and expensive part of this trip was the transportation. We had to use a company through our concierge that got us a van that would charge us around $145 minimum to up to $300 just for round trips. Now it's not that bad if you kind of divide it by 9 or 10 people, but regardless, having to do this every single time was very annoying. It cost a lot of money. I think overall throughout our trip, we spent nearly $2,000 just on transportation alone. But the plus side was that our driver was actually really great and he made us feel really safe. So I actually wouldn't recommend any other method of transportation than to use a service like this one. Unfortunately, it is the most expensive thing that we paid for, but it was absolutely 100% necessary and worth it. What up, brother? What up, man? Oh, this looks nuts. Now this was easily the most exciting part right after we came back from our tour. We went back to our hotels, picked up our bags, and headed over to our Airbnb. This Airbnb was absolutely phenomenal. It was actually one of the highlights of the trip, how amazing this Airbnb was. Not only did it get built just recently in September, but it looked insane. It literally felt like we were in Love Island. When you walk in, you're greeted with this giant sliding glass door with the kitchen and the dining table on the right side, but what's insane is that the middle of the house is actually open. And not only is it just open, but there's a cenote inspired, I want to say, lake/pool right in the middle of the house, which makes it look absolutely nuts. Oh my god, this is nuts. This is fucking crazy. As soon as we got ready, we headed over to a restaurant called Ilios, which is right at the heart of all the tourist spots on the beach. And this place was crazy because right when we sat down, they already had a ton of shows lined up that we weren't even ready for. We didn't even get to put an order in, and they already had us smashing plates against the floor. Originally, we were planning on going out, but that didn't even end up happening because they had bottle service there, and we just decided to stay there. The food was fantastic. The music was great too. Coming from somebody who lives in Las Vegas and goes to the club all the time, we couldn't even compare this to anywhere else. Hands down, a place you absolutely have to go to. It's for sure on the more expensive side, but completely worth it.
I'm so hungry! We didn't come here to eat! Isn't it all? What? To give it a deal! Okay!
On the topic of food, we also decided to get a chef for both dinner and breakfast. And honestly, one of the best decisions we made during this trip, because not only was the food amazing, the chef was also a really cool dude. We were able to get ready as the food was being cooked as well, so we weren't stressed into getting ready faster. We also ate at the Airbnb and we were able to enjoy the Airbnb a bit more instead of otherwise not spending as much time there. So we knocked out a couple birds with a single stone. It wasn't even expensive either. I think it came out to be around 45 bucks a person. So definitely something I recommend and I do not regret doing at all.
In the board, we have in this side pork pastor tacos, in the middle majo fish tacos, and in the other side beef birria tacos. Okay, bon appetit, enjoy.
Ooh, bon appetit.
Black steak quesadillas in 2 words, fruit of the season in the middle, Yogurt parfait in front of you. And this coffee to drink. We have orange juice.
You look like a fucking zombie.
There's a problem going on right now, and the champagne's probably gonna fix it.
Our last excursion was Escaret's Explore Park, which is essentially Disneyland or Six Flags in the jungle. It was absolutely sick. It was super fun. There's nothing like it that I know of in the world. Only downside is I wasn't really able to record anything because there was just so much water around that I didn't want to get my camera gear wet. But I did get a couple things here and there with my phone. They also have this photo package with a ton of different places where you can take pictures with your wristband. So we got a ton of pictures of us getting on the ride or certain locations that just look really cool. And last but not least, the beach club.
Either a cigarette, a vape. I've already had Adderall and 2 shots.
Jesus Christ.
Really aggressive.
The craziest part is 11 a.m.
I don't even have the time to do that.
Make time for the things we want, okay?
You're right, you're right.
I do feel absolutely horrendous right now.
You really?
Same. My toes.
I'm like shaking from like drinking so much. I have like anxiety.
as my toes look. Honestly, I hope no one.
On the way to the club, guys, we leave our mansions literally down the street, just trenches, which is like fucked up to say, but I mean the reality of fucking Tulum. It's crazy.
Now again, if you guys remember, I did say there was a ton of seaweed everywhere, the worst that it's ever been, and that kind of really destroyed the whole ambiance, or at least its potential. But even then, the place was really cool.
If you guys want to be like me and buy my gourds.
Now again, a lot of people are scared to come out here. A lot of people are scared to come party out here because it's known that things can get a little tricky. It's also kind of common knowledge that if you don't go looking for trouble, trouble won't find you, especially if you're a tourist. Tourists are protected over here. Locals aren't gonna touch you if you are in tourist area, or if you're clearly a tourist, they're not gonna mess with you. They don't want their business to be messed up. But there was a ton of people all over the place just offering you drugs. Now that was super sketchy, and it didn't happen once or twice. It happened multiple times. Now I don't know if it's because my friends looked really white that they kept coming up to them. They didn't come up to me as many times as they did some of my friends. And immediately as you walked in, they were already like, hey, you guys trying to party? And we're like, no. For example, look at this guy. We weren't even here for more than 5 minutes, and he's already offering us yay. I mean, this isn't anything crazy, nothing that we don't see in the US, but the way that they do things over here are a little bit different, and it's for sure something you really don't want to mess with. At least something we didn't fuck around and try to find out.
Right? For what? For what? I'm thinking to the moon. The moon!
The funniest part is that Xander's not buying any drugs, but he's bumming cigarettes. Like fucking drug lords. For free. Yeah.
Now, the real dangerous people at the club were the kids waiting outside of the club. Now, these kids were hustlers, and I respect the hustle, and this isn't the first time I've encountered them during the trip. When we went to the grocery store, I had a couple kids walk up to me, and they're like, hey, can you give me $1? I'm like, I don't have cash, but I'll buy you guys, a couple things at the grocery store. These kids go and fill up an entire cart. Now, you would think like, oh, you should have bought them the groceries, but it wasn't just like snacks and stuff. It was like diapers, pools, like a bunch of random stuff, which got me thinking, are their parents making them hustle us? And it makes you think that this is just another sort of scam or child labor, because the kids outside of the club took Apple Pay. Now you can hear this lady right here, she was getting scammed. She's like, hey, you didn't give me a turtle.
I need my turtle.
Her, baby.
Let me pick my turtle. Mira, just run. Bro, I gave you 40 pesos in that. Yeah, but I already gave you 40.
Hey, Mario.
And then they started hitting us for no reason, which was kind of funny. Overall, though, the club wasn't that bad. It was pretty cool. It sucked that the beach had a ton of seaweed. You feel safe for the most part, as long as you don't start looking for trouble. As soon as you start getting into drugs and start doing all these crazy things, that's when things can go downhill. Messing around with the wrong people here won't just land you in the hospital. You might literally go missing. So when it comes to partying, just be smart. But if you're just doing the touristy stuff like we did, you honestly feel safe the entire time, and you don't run into any of this. Now, by the time you get back home, you will get sick. Half of our group got sick.